Hi, I'm Dusty Rhodes, and I'm here with my friend Mayor Tom Williams. But before we get to him, I just want to say thank you so much to the people of Norwood for your support over the years. I really appreciate it. I feel like this is my second home, my home on the east side, so to speak. And you've just been great to me over the years, and I really appreciate it. It's good to be with Mayor Tom because he has set a pace that few of us in government service can keep up with. I've got a list here of all the things. I've got a great quote here. Norwood, one of the hottest new office addresses in the tri-state.
Isn't that nice?
You've been working. Working overtime.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's terrific.
You wait so long. You prepare for it, thinking it's going to turn around, and it does. And when you see stuff like that, that's exactly what we were hoping for and working for all the time.
Well, the thing is, this doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you just you don't snap your fingers. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to put this all together.
It takes a long time. Yeah. And I was telling somebody the other day, we started when it went down in 2008. We started preparing, working with the law department, to change building codes to zoning codes, put PUD over the property to protect them in the future, and knowing that eventually it's going to turn around. And it did, and we were prepared for it, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah, that's the important thing, is you're ready for it. But the thing that it impresses me is you've got to be working 80 hours a week at least on top of this, because I know some of the work that goes into it. And of course, council, you've worked with council to put all this together too, and the law director and all. But it's a masterful job, and it's amazing over the years. I think you've made people recognize what a great location Norwood is.
It is.
It's a perfect location, and now you're taking advantage of it. CDK, I think, is bringing in, 1,000 jobs?
1,000 jobs.
Yeah, and they'll be coming in shortly. And then
it was one of those deals, Dusty, where, we've gained trust by people, developers and business people, to come in because we keep it confidential. We have these these confidential agreements where you sign. People got upset with me the last time, but when you sign these agreements, you can't disclose it, and that's the way the companies want it in order to get them here. And then what we do is we widen it out. I'll talk to the auditor, I'll talk to the treasurer, I'll talk to Don Lake. So we talk to people as we widen the net out to make it come to a conclusion. And I got to say, we have been successful at doing it because we work together with people.
Yeah, I was trying to count down all the companies that have come in and more. And of course, the other thing that you've got going for you is the Rookwood Development, which has turned into just I'm trying to keep my wife away from there because she goes out there and spends money. But the restaurants and all, I mean, the environment is just so super. And these people are investing in the community, I guess, because they realize what a great location it is and how good you folks are to work with. And I think that's important. A lot of people aren't.
Well, you know what? We have a very small staff. I don't have layers.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm going to emphasize so much is the mayor has to be there.
Right.
They want to talk to the mayor. They don't want to talk to somebody else. But if you talk about Rookwood, just I-Square alone is going to bring in 500 jobs. Then you've got Mayfield and you've got other ones, which will push that office building to close to 1,000. And then you take CDK coming into the center of the city, right in the middle, and bringing in 1,000 jobs, which has the ripple effect, throughout the area, the restaurants, the clothing stores, the grocery stores. It has a ripple effect going out. So far, it's working just exactly the way we was hoping it would.
Yeah, and you're working together on it with everybody to make it happen. But I think that's important because people call and they want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to somebody else, and you've got to be there. And as I say, I know that you spend so much time in the community. It's mind-boggling because I come to events and you're always there, and it's great, and it's impressive.
Well, Marion and I have been empty nesters for several years now, and we've enjoyed every minute of it.
There you go.
So, Marianne's involved in volunteering. She worked at Cranston Computer. She volunteered. She was volunteering for the Whiz Kids, another program. So she's active in the community volunteering. She goes down to the seniors. So we attend events together. So, we do have a life, but a lot of our time is spent with the city, and then after hours we spend time doing whatever we can.
Yeah, well, you've got your finger on the pulse of the community, that's for sure, but some of the things that you've been involved in and some of the things you've done. And I know you've got the respect of a lot of people around the county are watching what you're doing, and some of them wonder what the secret is. And when they ask me, I just, well, a lot of hard work and a lot of pre-planning. And that's the thing that people never see. It's like the tip of an iceberg. All of a sudden, you make an announcement that a company's coming in, and people say, okay, but I don't think they ever stop to realize the meetings and the back and forth and setting it up. And of course, the other thing is, I think it's important you protect the community in all these things. Where there's a tax incentive given, you've got the clawback going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
If they should, for some reason, leave.
It used to be the same. We used to be able to say, well, you know, they're going to come here to City of Norwood. Well, now sometimes you just have to compete.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. I mean, it's something that you have to do. But on the other hand, you know, for example, the planning coming in, even when time was tough, we worked hard to keep our services up.
Right.
So that we didn't get ourselves in too much trouble or cause too much negative publicity in the law when times were bad. So we worked hard to do that and got sacrifices from a lot of people to do that. So once again, to lay the foundation for when it did turn around.
Right. And of course, you were swimming upstream as well.
Oh, yes.
Because the state, of course, cut like $250,000 a year out of the local government fund.
Yes, yes.
And you were able to withstand that. I know a lot of communities have suffered because of it. Some of them had to go for pretty hefty tax increases, but you've been able to work it out. And I think that's we've got to work on that in the next couple of years, get that local government fund back to what they promised.
I agree. I know our auditor goes ballistic. I mean, but there again, it's once again, working with the auditor, the treasurer, working together with people. This is not, even though the old theory is, if it's going good, we all do it. If it's going bad, the responsibility is mine.
Yeah.
But still in all, you have to work with people. You know, you have to work with council. You have to work with, you know, with everybody involved to come to the proper conclusion. This is just not one thing. Well, Tom Williams says it's going to go this way. That's not true.
Right.
You know, and sometimes that's put out. That's just absolutely not true. I have an old saying, I'm smart enough to know when I don't know.
Right, right.
And so you always go and check with people. And the most dangerous person is somebody who's not smart enough to know that they don't know. And then when you have that shoot from the hip is when you can get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, that's why you've been so darn successful, I think, over the years and keeping everything going. Now, you had a situation with the building inspections, particularly in West Norwood. You've got a couple of new guys on the...
Yeah, we do. Some time ago, we had an unfortunate, and we had to make some changes, let some people go, and adjusted, and we've brought 2 individuals on who are certified. One's got 30-some years experience. The other one's got 13 years experience. Both of them from the West Norwood area.
Right.
One still lives there. Both Norwood guys. Both are certified, trained professional, and yet they have really a strong personal stake in the neighborhood. We brought those 2 on. We've told them concentrate in West Norwood. Mm-hmm. And then we'll look at the Xavier housing if it's a problem down the road. So far, that's been going pretty well. So now we're looking at this, you know, to improving the life in South Norwood. We did it 2 ways. We improved the lighting. The police have put walking beats out there, and now we've done the building code. So it's a 3-prong approach to it. If you just can't go in one direction, you have to look at it in 3 ways. And one of it is, you know, is the building codes, and that's what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. That's great. The safety services are important. I know that even recently in the news, your police department has had a couple of good cases they've cracked.
Yes.
And they've dealt with some horrible situations.
Yes.
But you know what happens when you do that? And I was reading about those stories. The word gets out that this is not a place where people want to mess around. And I think for the sake of the people that live here and are paying the taxes and devoted to the community, that's what they want. The word gets out that if you want to do something a little wrong, you don't come to Norwood because...
What's the old Smokey and the Bandit line? Jackie Gleason said, "You can think about it, but don't you do it."
Right.
I love that line.
That's a good
it's
one.
Basically the same way you think about it. It's not threatening. It's vigilance.
Right.
You know, with the lighting and everything. The old saying is, criminals won't go to a place where they're likely to get caught.
Right.
So that's the place we avoid. So that's the concept. plus the building department.
Yeah, well, if everybody's working together,
that's the secret.
Yeah, that keeps it together. And like I say, that police department is just it's a terrific organization. The fire department they do a great job with life squad runs and everything. You guys are Johnny on the spot.
But here let me tell you another thing. Our schools are rated excellent.
Right.
And you know, that's so important. And my involvement in it lately, it's superintendent, Board of Education, teachers and students, and then you've got these volunteers. That's what makes it work.
Right.
And you watch these people all working together, it doesn't get the publicity it should.
Right. It never
really doesn't. I hear the band practice, I leave my office and go over and listen to them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that when something works well together, it doesn't make the news.
Yeah. And yet that's the kind of thing that you've done that I admire so much, is you kind of pull the whole community together and they're working in one direction. It's for the betterment of the community. And when you get right down to it, that's what this is all about. If you can't do that, and I think the fact that you've got roots in the community and you hear things and you're out there and accessible, you sometimes can shoot stuff off before it starts. And I know you're working with Xavier University.
Sure.
To solve a few problems maybe with some of the students, and that's a good thing. A lot of people in public service wouldn't really notice that, but I think you're noticing the little things before they become big things, and I think that's just such a great thing.
Well, like I said, if you get with these schools, you got that superintendent, you got that Board of Education, as hard as they're working, and we look at them and say, whatever we can do, we'll do.
Right.
And it's working out great.
You're all playing on the same team. I think that's important. I've heard there's a story going around that you're going to do the night before Christmas. Is that?
Yeah, the band asked me to do that. Read the night before Christmas.
You and Johnny Bench.
I am so excited about that. I am so good. I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
But I am so excited about that. I was thrilled that they would ask me to do that, and I'm really looking forward to it.
When's that going to be?
I think December the 12th.
Okay.
See, in our family, our grandkids, have gotten older. So, Emily's teaching now. She's the oldest. So the kids have read that on Christmas Eve. We pass it around and we all read it. And now the kids read it. Now I get to read it. And I'm scared to death they'll want to show up and then they'll critique me. And
Well,
I'm like a kid. I'm looking so forward to that.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's a great thing. It should be great for the community. I think those community events are terrific. And I know it's going to be a lot of fun for you. That's one thing I've never done. I've never done that, but maybe one of these years I'm going to be in the Price Hill. I'm going to be Grand Marshal of the Price Hill Parade. So
wow.
On Thanksgiving Day, that's an annual thing. Used to have the Elder West High game, but they don't do that anymore. But I know you go to the football games, and I know you were upset because the band wasn't there one time. We got to.
Oh yeah, Norwood scored.
Yeah.
And they weren't there to play the fight song, and they played a recording, and I went, what's going on here?
Well, we can't do that. Well, I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun, and I've really watched, and we've worked together on a few things where you've needed some help from the county, and we've been glad to give it, and you in turn have helped us through some stuff, through some issues too, and our offices work pretty closely because we have to approve the budget and all. But it's been a real thrill, and
I appreciate it.
It's great. It's great seeing the success story that you did it by the bootstraps. Nobody came in and handed you a couple of $1 million, and you had to do it from scratch. And in fact, they were throwing loggerheads in the way, and you still have done it, and you're doing it, and you're going to continue to do it, I'm sure. And it's going to be great for the community because. Well, this is the gem of the Highlands, right?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. There's just no doubt about it.
Great being with you.
Great city. Thank you very much, Dusty.
Tom, all the best, and
here's to a
big victory on Election Day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.